Could the Hulk face the most evil version of himself in Secret Wars? That's right, I'm talking about Maestro. You know, a few years ago, I would have said no, but with the renewed focus on the Hulk character in She-Hulk, it makes me think a big Hulk storyline is coming. Are we leading to a Hulk versus Maestro fight in Secret Wars? What would have to be done in order to get there? And you know what would be crazy? If Maestro was actually the version of Hulk from 2003's Hulk movie played by Eric Bana. Is that a possibility? Or am I overreaching? Let's discuss how we can make this happen right now. Anyone who recognizes my voice on this channel knows by now that I've always had a slight problem with how the Hulk has been treated in the MCU. I'm not a hater, I swear, but I just feel like out of every main character in the Avengers, it's been the Hulk who has been constantly shortchanged. And I absolutely understand that it isn't all the MCU's fault, since the rights to the Hulk were tied up with Universal and prevented a solo movie, which meant all Hulk development had to happen in other people's films. And even though Mark Ruffalo has absolutely rocked it in the role, I have always been upset with the Endgame situation. After Ragnarok and Infinity War seemed to be setting up a major resolution to the Hulk's whole MCU arc, everything was sidelined in Endgame with the introduction of Smart Hulk. It was played off as a joke, but Bruce described how he was able to combine the Hulk's body and Bruce's mind, and everyone was happy, right? But what about the Hulk personality? You're telling me Hulk was perfectly okay getting essentially erased from existence, and then they didn't even address it. And when I rewatch Endgame, I always see the moment where they could have. After Thanos snaps his fingers, he sees a vision of young Gamora, the thing Thanos loves most in the universe, asking him what the snap cost. We know that there's a deleted scene of Tony encountering his grown daughter after snapping his fingers in Endgame, where he talks about how he's unsure if he made a mistake with his decision. So it's established that when you snap your fingers with the Infinity Gauntlet, you see someone. A scene that the writers of Endgame have discussed before is that yes, when Smart Hulk snapped everyone back, there was a scene written where Bruce has a talk with the Hulk personality. We don't know the details past that, but even then, with the two of them having some sort of conversation where the Hulk reveals he's okay with their decision to merge, or even if the Hulk is angry and wants out, that would have been better than what we got. Anything would have been more satisfying compared to nothing. So without knowing anything about where the Hulk personality is, I turned to She-Hulk for some interesting character choices. In those early She-Hulk episodes where She-Hulk trained with Hulk, two things were happening with the Hulk character. The major one was that he was feeling incredibly lonely after losing his science bro, Tony Stark. It felt like he lost his probable best friend, and those feelings of loneliness probably set the stage for him to find out he has a secret son named Skaar that he would want to reconnect with. That's the big stuff. But something I really noticed in She-Hulk was how much Bruce hated being called just Hulk and would correct Jennifer whenever she called him Hulk and say that he was Smart Hulk now. It was a little detail, but to me that shows that Bruce is still really afraid of turning back into the Hulk. He wants to show that he's not Hulk anymore, and rather he's this new person without the Hulk personality. Doesn't sound like a guy who settled all his issues, right? No, it sounds like he's scared that the Hulk could come back and take over. And what I envision is that the Hulk personality is laying dormant within him, but because this personality has been basically suppressed all this time, it's causing a massive buildup. If Bruce isn't careful, then I think the Hulk personality could explode to the surface and be stronger, more powerful, and more angry than ever before, putting the whole world and the universe in danger. That's the character trajectory I see for the Hulk right now, which actually leads me to talk about Maestro. Maestro is an all-time great Hulk villain. Originally, he's introduced as a version of the Hulk from the future who survived nuclear war. Thanks to all the radiation and some other factors, Maestro basically became the worst version of Hulk imaginable. He had all of Banner's intelligence, but with the more malevolent side of the Hulk personality, creating a stronger, smarter, and more destructive dictator that ruled over the future with an iron fist. And just describing him, can you see why I think he's perfect for Smart Hulk? Right now, I think think the hero and the villain would be two sides of the same coin. Maestro has Banner's intelligence in Hulk's body, just like Smart Hulk, but the Hulk personality has infected Maestro enough where that's more dominant, and he could essentially be a cautionary tale. I don't think the goal for Bruce Banner and Hulk was to ever completely suppress one side, but rather find a way to work together in some capacity. Instead of constantly fighting for control, if the two were ever able to sync up and be on the same page, then the results would be fantastic for everyone involved. But maybe Maestro in the MCU could represent where Smart Hulk is eventually leading to. By focusing so much on the merge of personalities, maybe this causes an unleashing of the floodgates that results in the destruction of the entire planet. Yeah, that's why I think Maestro would totally rule. But as I mentioned at the beginning, here's where my twist comes into play. Yeah, Mark Ruffalo seems to love to hang out in a motion capture suit with dots on his face, so he would probably have no issue with portraying the Maestro character as well. But I do think that's a missed opportunity. I think Maestro in the MCU should actually be the version of Hulk from 2003's Hulk movie. Let's bring Eric Bana back and have him be the big bad that Ruffalo's Hulk has to face. It not only, I think, would work on a character level, but also can tie into the larger multiverse story that we're telling in these few phases, which I think shouldn't be overlooked. What better way to explore the multiverse and really dig into all of its potential than bringing back Eric Bana's version of Hulk for Ruffalo to fight? If they can bring back all the Spider-Man, they could bring back Eric Bana. And yeah, I'm first to admit that the 2003 Hulk movie isn't particularly good by any means, but it would be a nice way to provide some closure for that character, while also giving Bruce a chance to look at another universe version of himself to see the path he could go down. And I think it works too when you really think about it. Comic readers know that the Hulk has a really tragic backstory thanks to his abusive father and his mental problems, and split personality was present long before all the gamma radiation changed Bruce into the Hulk. That's an aspect of the character that has been largely ignored in the MCU so far, but it's a subject that was sort of highlighted in the 2003 movie. So it's clear that Bana's Bruce Banner has more potential issues than Ruffalo's Bruce Banner, which could feasibly lead to Maestro down the line. And as bad as the 2003 movie was, it did an okay job at capturing the Hulk as an angry personality that Banner couldn't stay in control of. There was no "that's my secret, Cap, I'm always angry" moment, and instead it kept it pretty standard with him hulking out whenever someone made him mad. It's not impossible to think that down the line something could happen where Bana's Hulk transforms into Maestro. Maybe the events of the comics play out here and nuclear war takes over, mutating that universe's Hulk into Maestro and ruling over the world. So now that we've established who our Maestro is and how he became who he did, what does this mean for the MCU's Hulk? How do these two wind up on a collision course? Well, the short answer: Kang the Conqueror and Dr. Doom. So this video is all about getting Hulk to fight Maestro in Secret Wars, so what has to be done in order to get there? Well, it depends on what type of movie Secret Wars is going to be. We know that on the MCU schedule, we have Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, followed by Avengers: Secret Wars shortly afterwards. There's two general options for how this could play out. Kang Dynasty could be like Infinity War, where it spends its runtime showing Kang on his quest for multiversal domination, and him winning in the end. And then followed by Secret Wars, where our heroes are living in a post-Kang victory world. Or what could happen is that Kang is on his crusade in Kang Dynasty, but is defeated by Dr. Doom, leaving Doom to take over everything and be the big bad of Secret Wars like in the comics. Whatever happens though, I think the overall journey would be the same. By the time Secret Wars rolls around, we'll be at the very end of the multiverse saga. More likely than not, universes will have collided and individuals from all over the multiverse have to band together in order to save the day and restore peace and balance. But here's my thinking. In order for Kang to have conquered so many universes and Avengers, he needs help, right? In the Kang Dynasty comic book, which presumably will form the foundation of the movie, Kang arrives on our Earth and puts a call out to all the bad guys in the world, saying whoever fights for him will be awarded land and power of their own after Kang's done conquering. This tires out our heroes enough to spread them a bit thin, making it easier for Kang to take over. I hope something something similar happens in the Multiverse Saga. I hope that in order to move from one universe to the next, he's able to employ help along the way, creating a bunch of mini bad guy bosses for our heroes to face. See, I'm also looking at this from a film perspective. I was a big fan of Thanos in Infinity War and Endgame, but his henchmen didn't really have much of an impact. And then he led a mostly faceless army in Endgame. To avoid repeating that mistake, Kang should spend some time recruiting other villains across the multiverse to help him out. Not only would this be awesome to see, but it would also provide more bad guys for our heroes to punch. The MCU has already changed so much since Endgame with the introduction of a bunch of new heroes, along with all of our old ones, and if there's a desire to see them all united as one team in Secret Wars, then you have to give them something to do. You can have a main team taking on Kang, but then side groups taking on the lower level baddies. And that's where Hulk could come face to face with Maestro and provide the most epic conclusion of his character arc imaginable. So what's Smart Hulk's mindset going to be in Secret Wars before facing Maestro? Well, it depends on what happens. She-Hulk teased a solo Hulk movie, and I'd be ecstatic if that turned out to be on the way. I don't know where that would be placed, but if it somehow finds a way to squeeze in before the Kang Dynasty, then we could follow Smart Hulk as he deals with his son Skaar. That whole situation gives us the best chance to bring back the Hulk personality. Skaar is clearly the result of a Hulk romance on Skaar, and now Banner has to grapple more with the fact that the personality he erased was something other than just a big rage monster, but also someone capable of some type of love. This could push Banner to realize that maybe he didn't make the best call. So when Maestro shows up as a figure that is the worst tendencies of Banner and Hulk combined, it's the final wake-up call needed for Banner to realize that they should have remained separate personalities. And I just thought of something. While mapping this out and having a solo Hulk movie where Smart Hulk trains Skaar, and then in Secret Wars we finally bring back the Hulk personality, I kind of thought that was too long to wait. But what if this is all a clever workaround to those pesky Hulk rights? So we know that in the past, the MCU couldn't make a solo Hulk movie, and with the tease of an upcoming Hulk project, we've just kind of thought Universal's rights have expired and the MCU can make their Hulk movie now. And while that's most likely, what if they still can't make a solo Hulk movie? So instead, they make a smart Hulk movie with the Hulk personality completely absent from it. Who knows how that rights contract works, and maybe they're allowed to make a film that doesn't technically have Hulk in it. You think that's possible? Would you watch a movie that's just about Smart Hulk, or do you need the Hulk in it in order to be excited? Anyways, after that movie, then we could lead to Secret Wars that comes with the epic return of the Hulk personality. Hulk could reawaken and start kicking Banner's Maestro's butt. But also the other big thing to consider is our Hulk even strong enough? Like sure, it would be nice for Banner to realize that the Banner personality and the Hulk personality need to remain separate, but Maestro is still one of the most powerful beings in the universe. All that nuclear radiation creates a superpowered beast, and maybe one Hulk isn't strong enough to stop it. Well, that's the other storyline that this battle could resolve, and it ties back into what I was saying earlier about how in She-Hulk, Bruce is tremendously lonely after losing Tony. Because the thing about Maestro could be that even though he has all this power, he's completely alone. His original universe may be a desolate one, and he doesn't have anyone to interact with. So not only could Maestro represent the worst of Bruce and Hulk's powers, but also show a Hulk who truly has no one in his life. And that's where our Bruce Banner could really triumph. Because as this arc has proved, our Hulk isn't alone. He has She-Hulk now, and he also has Skaar to create a little Hulk family for himself. And if there's time, maybe Amadeus Cho could be in the mix, as well as Betty Ross in her grand return. This Hulk family team-up could be what delivers the final beatdown to Maestro and stops him once and for all. Overall, I think some type of Maestro confrontation would be the best thing for Hulk's character. And honestly, it could just be a massive, brutal fight without any of the character development I just mentioned if necessary. I mean, yes, I do think having Maestro's character be Eric Bana's Hulk and represent everything that Smart Hulk could become is awesome, and could help separate Hulk and Bruce Banner's personality. It would be the most satisfying character conclusion possible. But if the MCU just wanted to introduce Maestro to give Hulk someone to to punch, then I'd still be okay with that. Ever since the first Ed Norton Incredible Hulk movie, I don't think the Hulk has been necessarily challenged all that much. He's basically mowed down everyone in his path except for Thanos at the start of Infinity War. But we didn't even get to see that rematch. The problem with having Hulk as the side character for all these movies is that his fights with characters feel more like afterthoughts of the final confrontation. When he smashes Loki like a ragdoll, it feels like it's played more for laughs rather than a fitting victory for the Hulk. He destroys Ultron in the Quinjet in Age of Ultron, but that's more of an epilogue to the final fight. And he didn't even get a good rematch with Thanos. See what I mean? I want Hulk to have a villain where the final fight actually means something serious to the Hulk, and putting him up against Maestro is the way to do it. And if they really could get Eric Bana back as Maestro, reprising his own version of the Hulk, that would truly represent everything awesome this multiverse saga could do. I see this as an absolute win. What do you think? Agree or disagree? Should the 2003 Hulk film be given some redemption, or should we all just forget that it ever existed? And would this be a logical endpoint for the Hulk character in the MCU? I think it might be. As much as Mark Ruffalo seems to be happy doing this forever, I have to think that he'll want to stop eventually. Maybe after he has a fitting conclusion to this character, that would be the best time to step away for good. It would be bittersweet, but as long as the path leading to his goodbye is worthy enough, then I think we'd all be relatively okay with it. What do you think? So this was all Hulk v Hulk, but do you think we could get other heroes fighting evil versions of themselves? Like Captain America versus evil Steve Rogers? That would be cool. Let me know what you thought of this in the comments below. Thanks for watching CBR. See you next time.